I want to start this one off by acknowledging 3 things that I appreciate. So, I appreciate my glasses for being able to see visually, clearly, in detail, all of nature that I'm able to live very close to. And right now I'm looking over a body of water with lots of waterfowl. It's like a small army of black and white duck type species. I have no idea. And they're all swimming in the same direction. All the other duck species are coming in and congregating. It seems like in this moment, for some reason, there's some drama going on. And all of this visual observation is all thanks to clear vision, and that's my glasses. And another thing is acknowledgement that I have the privilege of time, of awareness and point in journey where I am able to even start making voice notes like this. Start a form of a diary, because I've not done this before, and in my future I might greatly appreciate this as being part of a journey. And it might not have been, who knows, it might not have been forthcoming if my life had been any other way. So life as it is now is and can be seen as a privilege, because I have so much freedom to think, to be still, and to just be, and develop my levels of awareness, so much so that I open myself up to scrutiny and self-analysis, and I have the privilege of stillness and self-control to be able to address certain emotions that come up, certain realizations that may be very uncomfortable, and I'm able to address them in a controlled enough and mature enough manner to not instantly fight against and reject concepts and ideas that I will resist and fight against and deny and reject. So it is a great privilege to be the kind of person who I am and have enough space in time, space in privacy, space in just the momentum of life, having so many requirements that we need to meet every day, every month, every year. Pressures of self-maintenance, pressures of staying afloat financially and investing in the future, and not just for yourself but for those around you and for future you and yours. And that's a lot of pressure in order to facilitate that kind of future planning. And so you need to have a relationship with work, and you need to earn an amount of money, and you need to do all of this every day, most of your days, and you need to devote yourself to that for your future stability, because the world that we live in is so much based on economy. And so, yeah, that's a great deal of pressure, and it's within our culture, and we see it as a mandatory fact of life. Well, I'm realizing more and more that I think fundamentally I've just rejected that. I've always just rejected that and been in denial of that, because I believe that humankind has much greater potential to go past the limitations of not just like capitalism or our political state or states in general, and any kind of concepts of division and separation on a big scale, on an international scale, to a regional scale, to a society or culture scale, to a group scale, to a self scale, and then further on, ever more dissected, ever more scrutinized. We can go through all of these levels of perspective and talk about things and realities experienced on different scales, on different magnitudes, and perspectives. So you could delve into your own self and then see all of the aspects within, and you could scrutinize all of those and have the time and space to, because my attention is not contracted away to the necessities of commercial, profit life. A life based on very egocentric desires. And that's power and control, leverage, competition, pride, status, all of the aspects of the ego, really. And it's been facilitated heavily by the mind. And ego is just creating this world around us. This is the way I've seen it without this language, without this kind of lens, without these words. I think from early on observed that life is made up of all of these different aspects of self, that the whole world that we create, we actually forge, whether individually and or collectively, is just an extension of ourselves. And so if you have the ego and mind driven dominating force coalesce and gain more power and overrule and eradicate and subjugate other aspects of self, maybe not of ego, maybe of grace, maybe of body, maybe of will. What if another type of world was possible? If we reconnected, reattuned, and reinstated different aspects of ourselves that maybe have been pushed way to the back, that we're not even aware of. Maybe we can connect with them and actually all generate a vastly different reality for ourselves in the present, and our relationship with ourselves in the present, the truths of what we're experiencing, the levels of awareness that we're unveiling. And this is all part of a journey that we're so privileged to be on right now, individually and collectively. Times have never been more exciting and more enlightened, or at least we have enough collective awareness to realize, at least there's a danger that we're self-destructing, right? As individuals, as societies, as families, we're realizing, there is a systematic thing here. There is a pattern. There is an overall understanding of truths that we need to heal. We really, really, really need to heal. And The world entirely can be different if enough of us heal. And not only heal, but that understand these archetypes of individuals, archetypes of aspects that we all share. If some are left to rule and dominate and others are neglected, then we're just going to be imbalanced, because there is way more to our nature than just focusing on the aspects of greed and ego-driven value metrics, value systems. And there's just so much more purpose and reason and answers and love through a devotion to another aspect that we all carry. Whatever language you want to use, it's in us. The capacity is in us. And I think we need to first be aware of and identify conceptually these different aspects of ourselves, and frequently communicate with them and develop a relationship with them and nurture them and bring them forth. And in the process, you bring forth your truths and discomforts and realizations of, oh yeah, you're right. This all is a manifestation, an extension of ego. And if we want to project the world as we want it outward, we have to first acknowledge what it is inward. And we all have to do that together. I mean, we just need to have enough of us to create that overwhelming majority and make enough ripples so that we create a new paradigm shift from within. And all of that is obviously very big picture thinking and talking from me, but that's how I've always seen the world. I've always seen the world in so many different small picture detail to big picture like majesty, genius of just patterns of life, of truth, of understanding. Everything to me has always been in and out, up and down, round and round, through the powers of observation and through the privilege of freedom to self-reflect. I haven't lived a life of servitude. I've rejected that. I haven't lived a life of absolute poverty where I'm living hand to mouth, where I'm just trying to put food in my belly so I survive. Fortunately, I haven't had that. Although there's always that risk. Because if I allow myself to slip too much, too far into any given one direction, then I'll be unbalanced and I might stray. So there's always the dangers of letting yourself go in so many ways. Maybe in your sanity, maybe in your health, maybe in your sense of self, in your faith, in your belief. In whatever shape or form, you have to maintain a good balance with all of these things, all of these aspects. Otherwise, you might always be in danger of going to the extreme side of any scale. So, yeah, even though I struggle with wanting to make something of myself and become successful, and these ego-centered impressions and desires that's maybe been impressed upon me because I've never really put it together that they are of the ego and I'm trying to disidentify with it, or at least just observe it enough so that I form a healthy relationship with it and not to be subjugated to it entirely, to ego's let's say, lack of self-awareness. So this is a privilege of having multiple small, painful, uncomfortable, hilarious, magical levels of awareness just every now and then. Some frequent, some big, some small. But I'm on the pursuit of always increasing my level of awareness by just putting tendrils out there, seeking answers, asking questions. And I'm also putting those tendrils inside and seeing, feeling what feels right, what feels wrong. When is my body reacting to things? When is my ego reacting to things? When is my mind reacting to things? And I'm just increasing my levels of awareness through attuning to a higher state and being able to listen to my body, my emotions, my thoughts, my, preferences, my ideologies, and scrutinizing them so that I better understand myself. Because honestly, I need to come up with a third: appreciation. I appreciate that I'm alive. What helps me appreciate things more is this space that I've created that facilitates this pondering. I have a lot of time to myself. That's the freedom. I have so much space and time. I can afford myself these luxuries of thoughts, because I'm not ever consumed with having to look after people. No one's looking after me. I'm just looking after myself, barely. I'm keeping myself entertained. I'm seeking answers inwards. And I'm slowly coming out of my shell. And it is a difficult process. So I'm grateful of, just being alive, because at any given point you get sucked into your, woe is me, or grateful, outward expressions. But really, there's so much gratitude to be found in just being silent, stepping away from all that noise. Try not to even think, just use your senses, all of them, as well as control, awareness. And you watch all of the different parts of you, all of the aspects come alive, and they're given space to breathe and exist and be. If you're able to understand the concepts of your mind, you're able to go, okay, shush now. And if you understand the concept of your ego, the aspect of your ego, you're able to say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't actually mean that. I was just triggered. I love you. And if you are aware of your body more, then you're able to use your senses of sight to observe all of this beauty around us everywhere. Every single breath that we take, this beauty being sucked in. And then it's used to nourish ourselves, and then we just exhale and put it back and then it gets converted into something else and something else. The sounds of the birds, of disruptive noises. How dare these noises be disruptive while I'm trying to make a voice note? I'm walking around in nature and outdoors, public space, and I'm also expecting for it to all be quiet while I walk through and make a voice note. How dare the world make noise? I'm coming through. I wish people would shut up. Yeah, the concept of self. You can tell that to go chill. Just take a seat. Levels of awareness allow you to understand things through the powers of narrative and storytelling and recording and abstraction, fascination, curiosity. So I appreciate life. I appreciate the journey that I'm on. I appreciate that I have difficulties in my life, but I am alive. I am one with life. Life is all around. You can't escape it. You are alive. Wanting to escape life is just insane. And hopefully no one gets that unconscious without enough support and help. So then it brings me back to, well, what's the point of all of this? Is it just self-therapy? Am I just indulging in my own mania and making voice notes because no one else is around to nurture me, to be a role model, to distract me, to stop me from even thinking or pretending that I might be slipping into a dangerous area? There's no one really around, because if I'm not authentic to myself, then I'm certainly not going to be authentic to other people. And so I'm going to pretend like everything's okay. I mean, everything is okay. It's just, yeah, being lonely is actually a consequence of just neglect. And it's a two-way street. If you neglect yourself too much, then you will be ashamed and you would be driven into self whatever, deprivation. And you just spiral downwards. And you can try and stay afloat with the structures that are prescribed upon you. Get a job, work all the time, have some kind of hobby, seek a spouse, have a family. Yeah. And have some time for yourself and your pleasures in the meantime. Just have fun. But basically do that structure. And that's what our civilization has been pretty much been. And so then the work culture is just part of the yeah. I definitely have some really immature and irrational objection to how this life that we've built is. And I'm talking about in a developed world, in a city where you have money and you have, fancy things. I want to retain this kind of lifestyle. But I reject that it needs to carry on this way. I kind of want to retain all the pleasures in life that money can bring, but I don't want that relationship with money, with that as a value. I think I'd rather spend my time focusing on much different values. And so I'm not driven towards spending my time just trying to get a job, make money, just so I can live my life. It makes sense that it works. And I'm thankful that, the world is built as it is and functions as it is because of it. So it's got lots of pros, obviously. But it's got so many cons too, because the root of greed and capitalism and profit over everything, exponential growth. It keeps bogging me down all the time. I just reject this broken system. It's very poisonous, and it comes from a poisonous place. And so, I've just always resisted against this pursuit of money and the working life. Servitude is something. Servitude is one thing. But I can be in servitude of an elder that I respect, who bestows upon me and enables me to grow as an individual and bring value in any other ways that I can. That's not based on just greed and sustaining a life that's based on money. Money should not be the common value system. I think I'm just rejecting how life is. I don't have the answers, obviously, on how it can be any other way, but I'm definitely open and dreaming of the possibilities of life in a completely other way. Our lives, our human lives, any other way. I mean, maybe it wasn't possible for the human species to be so successful if it wasn't for their ego and mind dominance. And body dominance too. It helped us navigate the early stages when we were just beasts, when we had to survive, and that's it. But I have to just keep myself maybe quieten my own mind, quieten my own ego, and maybe the luxury of time and space is not doing me any favors if I keep going round and round in circles. I'm rejecting what is, and what is life is like this. It's like anyone's parents would say, life is like this, and it sucks, and you just have to get on with it. And any child can either respect that and acknowledge that and agree with that, or they can be critical thinking and ask questions and go, no, I believe that it can be another way, life can be another way. And if they're always rejecting the truth of it, then they'll just be called a dreamer, and they'll disassociate with the demands of of life, of this life, and we'll start rejecting it. We'll start dreaming of better ways. I think I've always been a dreamer, and I think I have that disconnect. I have that kind of relationship with work. I have desires and needs to just play, to be a child, to please myself, to have cool things to study and identify, and to be able to know what the body's capabilities are, what my mind's capabilities are. Just be of value to others, be loved and appreciated, be respected, contribute in a positive way. I want to be free to just be the best person I can be. And I just, even though I have so many privileges, I have a decent CV, I've got many years of experience, I'm very talented, I have a history to prove it, I'm very witty and quick to pick things up, I'm smart, I can learn quickly, I'm talented, I'm skilled. So I have qualities that would give me a much higher position in life had I had the desire to. And I'm just not driven. I don't care about all that, because ultimately I'm not able to really bring that value and become my best self. It's just taking up a role in a salary position, doing stuff that you might not necessarily agree with or want to do, and you're restricted how you can do it. People just tell you what to do. And I've never had any interest in the retirement scheme either. This whole thing of working like a slave just to get money. I think I've always struggled with this basic reality. And admitting it out loud, it just sounds insane. It sounds preposterous. But I think our emotions and our resistances, I don't think they are very intelligent. I think they're pretty simple and straightforward. And so maybe the truths of it are very simple and straightforward. Maybe I'm just refusing to grow up. Maybe that's it. Maybe there's a part of me, a big part of my ego and psyche and belief systems and whatever it is, that I just point blank refuse that is an ultimate fact for everyone, that everyone has to work and give up their dreams and stuff. But then it can be argued, obviously, that it's a balance. You do have free time. You're not an actual slave. You can work as little as you want or as much as you want. There is balance to be found. It's difficult any way you want to go at it, but it's achievable. So I don't know. I still have quite an immature response to it, I guess. I just don't want a life based on that. I think there are much more valuable ways to spend my time, because I see that if I'm able to reach myself with some kind of understanding and levels of awareness, and I have experience in that area that help other people to become the best of themselves through my personal journey, through my diary, through my learnings, whatever. And I really hope that can become a much more valuable thing for people to aspire to spend their time doing. And if in the process I'm able to find some way, listen to and answer somehow of a way that I can find a solution to my financial instability issues, and at the same time do what I love to do and do what feels like the most valuable way to spend my time at any point for the rest of my life. I mean, that sounds bonkers, but to me it sounds achievable. To me it sounds like wishful thinking as well. It sounds mad. It sounds impossible. But I dream of ways that we could be, ways that we are in small amounts, small isolated amounts, but that the way that we could be as more of a mass, more as a collective. We could bond with ourselves and get to know ourselves and love ourselves individually, and then more as we do that individually, we inherently become more collectively healthier, happier, more in tune with other aspects, healthier aspects, more aware, more connected, more loving, more empathetic, more controlled and nurtured. And I need this for myself. I need to understand, and I need to actually heal, and I need to bestow upon other people helpful ways that they can do it for themselves. I need this. We need this. I think that's a strong reason why I've just been fighting against how life is, because I feel how life could be, should be, but could be. So I have attachments to these dreams, and I'm starting to realize truths within myself which are helpful to know, to better understand, to better manage. But yes, I am seeking full-time work so that I get that financial stability and keep myself occupied, and see if that makes me feel any better about myself or about my dreams, because it's a necessity and it makes sense. I'm slipping down a slippery slope, and I need to get my shit together and grow up and be mature, be self-reliant, be self-assured and confident and driven, and I should be all of these things. So that's what I should do. Get a job, make money, have friends, do stuff, buy stuff. I just still reject all that. Not all of that, but all the mandatory, this is what life is and this is what you should be doing, and the reality matching that, because this is the world that we built. I want to find a solution that means it's a win-win, that I don't have to bow down to those paradigms. I can choose another way. If there isn't one already out there, if I haven't found one, then I need to make one for myself.
Why are you doing that way?
I don't know. Okay, maybe I shouldn't go back down that way. Alright. This has been long enough. I'm self-conscious.